Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to another great episode of Bob's Barn Workshop. You know, this is going to be my first video since we got back from Europe and going to the Normandy beaches for the D-Day 75 celebrations, which was an emotionally very stressful, I won't call it a vacation. We started out in Paris, went to Normandy for 7 days with a tour group. Went to all 5 of the beaches. Saint-Mère-Église. I ran into Dale Dye, the actor from Band of Brothers who played Colonel Sink, and he's also the trainer for all the war movie guys like Saving Private Ryan and so on, and they had to boot camp with him before the making of Band of Brothers, so they knew how to act like real soldiers. Well, anyway, you guys all know that I've been working on this Envoy for a while before I went. I thought it was all ready for inspection, did all the exhaust, the whole front end, spindles, bearings, and struts and so on. Well, I took it for inspection and they said, your back brakes fail because there's a chunk missing out of one of your rotors. I thought I did these not too long ago. Now they do have the internal parking brake, which works fine, which is inside the rotor. I'm hoping I don't have to touch those. So which means pulling the wheels off, pulling the calipers off, changing the pads. I'm going to put new pads while I got them apart. New AC Delco rotors back together. I'm saying about a half hour, 45 minutes for the whole job. So, as Ralphie's father said, so here we go again. I'm all set up. I think I got all the tools I need. Let's see what this takes. Got the big thumper here. No big deal. Taking lug nuts off the AC. Whoop. Why they're freaking there we go. Alright, I'm sitting on a bucket here so I don't have to sit on the tire, which I do a lot. I sit on the tire. Leave the lug nuts right here. There's all 6 of them. Alright. Oh yeah, these things are shot. Gosh, I thought I put good ones on here. Alright, well, gotta get the whole bracket out here, which I think it looks like a typical 18s, as we've seen before. Unfortunately, these aren't as easy to get to as they were in the past. Yeah, those are 18s. Ratchet's the only way to get them off here. Wow, I thought I had done these a lot sooner than what it looks like. It's hot out here today. Yeah, let's get the breaker bar. Probably the shocks on this in the rear could afford to be gone too. Oh, gosh. I guess that's why they call those a breaker bar. They either come out of your breaker. Oh. Well, maybe I'll take these calipers out first. Let's see what size that little guy is. I bet it's a 13 or a 14. Yeah, that's a 12. 13. Oop. I vote for 14 then. Alright. Now, that little guy. Where did I put my other right shape? There it is. There isn't no chance of using a impacts in here, guys. We're stuck with this. Alright, now we gotta hold that one. Alright, I'm goofing it up here. It'll be nice to get all this crusty stuff off here anyway, won't it? Okay. Alright. I got my whole assortment. It's Actually, these are 17s. Yep. Sorry you're looking at my back, but not too much I can do about that. And that's just the stubby. Now, I got a big screwdriver. Before I take that out, I'm going to compress the caliper a little bit, which means you need to put your screwdriver right in here on the edge of the rotor where you can get in there on the rotor, and you just pull that forward like so. That's compressing that caliper piston. See, she's loose as anything now. Alright. Let's see if that other one comes out easy. Where is she? Get up around here where I can see. Get it right up against the bottom of the axle here. Here we go. There we go. I'm going to check these pins and clean them. The slider pins, of course. Got to do that on any of these. There's a pin in a boot that goes into a socket that you grease. Lets the piston slide. Okay. That guy's easy enough. We'll push him back with a C-clamp. Oh man, these things are crusty. It's just amazing how bad shit gets up here in the Northeast, isn't it? Man. Wow. These are way crustier than I thought. Always something, isn't there? Ain't a big hammer, but I guess it'll work. See, and I ain't saving these rotors. I don't care if I ding them up or anything. Worst case, they're going to the junkyard. Junk! Even the wear things are junk. Isolator pads, what do you want to call those things? They help the shoes ride and not rust. Okay, so I'm going to have some cleaning on this that I'm not prepared for. Now it's at least easier to get at those 18s. Originally assembled these, I would have thought I put a lot of NICs on them. Gotta love this offset handle. Can't get the ratchet out because it's up against the anti-roll bar, anti-sway bar. So I'm going to have to pry it off somehow. I've got a ratcheting set in here somewhere. Got 18. Nope. Why do they never give you the right size? Never have an 18. You notice that? But they make everything in 18. So, Why don't we have 18s? It just keeps you coming back, I guess. Easy stuff gets crusty so fast around. Of course, it might have been more years than I'm remembering. Yeah, good thing these are all anti-seized up, see? A lot of good anti-seize on there. Hope you're seeing a little bit of what I'm doing here. Alright. I'm going to get this one out with the ratchet. Ouch. Except when you pinch yourself. Very warm today, nice and warm. It seems really warm because it's been so darn cold up here for the last few months. We should have been having weather like this 6 weeks ago or more. All we've had is cold and rain up into New York, huh? To New York. Western New York. Not anywhere near New York City, and I've never been and I don't want to go. Alright. So we'll knock some of the crust off this. Now the place you got to clean on these is right here where the end of your shoes rest, because that's where, I think it's nice and crusty, or nice and oily. It fits very loosely. I guess that's a good thing. I got to clean some of the rust out of here, out of the grooves, but I don't want to get it into the, you know what I'm saying? You see the groove here where the O-ring sits? But it's full of corrosion. I guess I'm going to have to put some grease in there to help prevent that. The grease, or the rust expands and blows stuff apart on you. As I said, I'm just a DIYer. I've been just doing this for myself for many years. And, so I just learned the slings and arrows of a DIY guy. Saved myself a few bucks over the years. Okay, so I'm just going to pull these out right now. And I just got my green grease. Going to put a little bit right around that O-ring, or that little lip. And then I'm just going to slide it right back in the hole. Get it down into that groove. And we're good to go. Alright. These are nice and greasy. I just want to get it on that the lip right there. So that when I put it back in, it pops into that groove and gets it a little greasy, so there you go. Now, while we're on the subject of cleaning stuff up, I'll get my little zippy tool, as I call it in all my other videos. And I have my fancy little brush right here. And we're going to clean this area right here. Right where those shoes want to slide and self-adjust. And you want to check any mating surfaces where these things press up against another piece of metal in the frame of the spindle there. Okay, like right here, but these are pretty clean. My battery's dying, but I don't need a lot. The rest of this, the bolt goes in from, oh no, that's the where they made it. Okay. I want to get that pressed off in there. Just in case. We want that in between there. Even a tiny little wedge of grease will hold things out of misalignment. Alright, well there's all the mating surfaces. I can't get my brush down in there. That's all we're doing to that for now. Alright, let's see how gross this is. Ah, good. My parking brakes look good. That one's junk. This, man, don't beat on that too much. This backing plate is shot too. God dang. Oh, God. I don't think I'm going to replace it though. Oh my God. Oh, that means taking the whole thing apart. Alright. Well. Fudge. Alright, well, let's put this on hold for a while. As a review, we were just going to pop these rotors off and put new brakes in them. And as you can see, the whole rear backing plate just literally fell apart. Well, guess what? Guess how much fun this is going to be. I have to remove the whole rear end, pull the axles out of the pumpkin to get this square assembly off, which traps the brake pad or the brake dust thingy behind it. So I need this plastic part. It goes right there. And there's a little boot that goes in there. So I'm going to start taking this apart, I guess, a little bit. We'll see. Alrighty, well, we're going to continue this later. I had to take that rusty old pumpkin apart, which I sprayed the nuts, the top of the bolts with. They're 13 millimeter. Hopefully the 13s will come out, or I might have to use a 12 or something. I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably get new bolts. Took the spare tire out so that I had room to get to this. You can't do it with the spare tire. Sprayed the bolts on the shocks, rear shocks, because the rear shocks look dusted. So hey, as long as I'm spending the money, right? I got lots of it. I got deep pockets. Alright guys, we'll see. I was really amazed to see how easily this brake shoe was just one continuous hoop with a brake in the top. And it just went in just like so. And you slide it up and into the grooves in there, and then it slides down and there's a clip in the bottom and you drive it back up in. So that came out pretty easy. You just reverse that process to get it out. They say to get the brake cable out you have to squeeze these guys, of course, and pull it back. My parking brake is off, of course, because I didn't want to screw it. I want to see how this goes together. See how that cable hooks into that lever, and this is just not a hydraulic brake, parking brake, it's just a lever in there. So I'm thinking I'll just take a screwdriver and push on that, and then maybe I can put that brake caliper down here out of the way. Maybe I can pull it back that way. Let me see. Alright, welcome back to Bob's Automotive Disaster Workshop here. Push that guy in. Push that guy in. Oh yeah, she's backing up. Alright. We gotta get this cable back far enough. Pull the spring back. That's easy enough. We'll put a screwdriver right in there. The guy made it look really hard on his video, but I think I got the trick right here. If I can get my screwdriver onto the edge of that. There we go. Onto the edge of that spring. There we go. That was easy enough. Now where the hell did that come from? Oh, okay. That's the piston. So I'll make sure we don't lose that. Pull the innards of that brake out of there, see if I can. Now the thing is just got all rusty and crusty. Okay, well that gasket is shot too, of course. That little pin is like a ball socket. Oh, it's a pusher pin. Looks like that just goes up in there like so. Alright, well, I'm going to leave that put together for right now. That's pretty much all I can do in here right now. I guess I could break these nuts free. If I had a really big wrench. Let's see, are those 18s? Yes, they are. Well, that wasn't that hard. That's only an 8-ounce hammer, and I just hit myself in the wrist with it, though. That was fun. Pop, pop, pop. There goes that part from the thing again. I really need to get my big hammer, or just, you know, the old, stick a piece of pipe on. I think once it gets tough, you get a bigger hammer. There she goes. Impact, the original impact wrench. Okay, that guy's loose. I just gotta get the bottom one. I'm just loosening these up all I can. Do they go all the way through? Oh yeah, it would probably help to WD-40 the. I'm actually using PB Blaster, but same difference, right? Put a little bit on those exposed threads. Help them come back through. I'm pretty impressed. PB Blaster works pretty good. Alright. 18. I'll knock this last one right off here. This is the original impact wrench. There we go. Loosen them up like that, see? Work them a little bit. A lot of it's just the crud on the backside. These will come right out with the impact when I get them. See, the problem is that I gotta unclip the axles to draw them out and take the cover off, and I'm worried about the cover, nothing else. So they're really crusty, and you can only see the bottom ones, I know. With this. Come on, baby. Come for daddy. Boy, they're tight too. Oh, that one gave. All right. These might be 1/2 inch, actually. Sometimes the parts in the rear ends of these vehicles. I'm going to try the 1/2 inch. I'm pretty sure these might be 1/2 inch instead of 13. Let's see if I can 1/2 inch. Let's try a 1/2 inch. Just a little bit better. I do think it's a bit tighter. Let's try it on that one that wouldn't. work it down on there. Come on, baby. Oh, I did, it gave. Okay. Just trying to beat the rust off it too with the socket here. Ah, yep, that one gave too. I'm gonna definitely have to get new bolts. Let me get a hammer. Alright guys. What we got down here, this is just a heat shield hanging down here for the tire. I think there's 10 bolts in this, which they were 13 millimeter, but I actually think that they are 1/2 inch, which is slightly tighter. And I think they're 5/16 by 1/2 inch bolts. So I'm gonna have to go over to the Tractor Supply and get some just like it. I don't know, I'm gonna look at this cover. If it looks too bad, I'm just gonna buy a new one. But I think if I do have a sandblaster, and I just left 2 bolts in there to put the cover on there to hold the nastiness. I did have to drive a 12 millimeter socket on one of them because the heads was so bad, but that actually ended up getting it out. Somebody put red Loctite on these friggin' things. They don't need Loctite on them. They need friggin' anti-seize on them. Anyway, so that's ready to go. I gotta run to the store and see if I can get the shields today, because this is the back of the other one. Look at. That's dusted. Look at the rotor. The rotor is garbage. I guess I thought I did a good job on these, but apparently they're junk. Don't buy Chinese junk, buy AC Delco. Okay guys, well, I got the nasty old rusty diff cover off. Definitely needs to get painted, doesn't it? I think it's plenty usable, it just needs to be cleaned up. So, you know that sandblaster I built a couple months ago? Gonna come in mighty handy. I'm not going to show you me using it, but I just wanted you to know. I'll show you when I'm done. I'm using the Harbor Freight 50-pound bin thing with the hose and the nozzle thingy here. Compressor's upstairs. All right. Okay, time for the big reveal. Here's the after. All the plain. I mean, there's a lot of pitting on it and everything, but I blasted most of the rust out of it. It's just a diff cover, but I wanted to make sure there weren't any holes. It's fine. It just needs the good coat of Rust-Oleum. Well, here we are for tonight, guys. I got the backing plates, 1 coat of Rust-Oleum. I'm just going to give them an extra coat of Rust-Oleum. Got a Rust-Oleum rusty metal primer coat on the pumpkin cover, and we'll be painting that black before we put it on. The rear end is all open. They say the rubber gasket is reusable. It's already stuck on the back, so I'm not going to remove it. I'm just going to clean the front side and put me some Ultra Black on there. And I think we'll be good to go. I bought new bolts for these. These are actually 8 millimeter by 1.5 thread pitch, and I think they're 3/4 long, and I was able to find the bolts at AutoZone or Advance, and these are grade 8s too, and they're the flange washer heads like that were in there. And so tomorrow I'll just get this pulled and done. I haven't even worked on this side yet, but it's going to go the same as that side. I've already pulled the backing plate apart. It's falling apart. The brake rotors are shot. I thought I'd done these recently, but they're just gone. So that's where we're at for tonight, guys. I think I'm going to call the video. We're going to call it part 2 tomorrow. Okay, guys and gals, day 2. I now have the driver's side stuff pulled off. You can see the backing plate is just as bad. Same thing, I had to work on the brake caliper holder and the pins. One of the pins was seized, and I was luckily able to turn it with a wrench and back it out. Cleaned it all out. Took a gun cleaning brush and cleaned the socket actually, and some solvents. Got that oiled back up, and that's back together. Put a new shock on here, a new Gabriel Ultra. Now I'm going to pull those axles. I think I'm going to do them one at a time. And how you do that on this Chevy, you might have seen this before, is I'm hoping the light's good here. Inside this rear end, if you turn the crank, the drive shaft around till you see this little bolt right here. It was kind of tight. I had to tap it with a light wrench to get it to knock loose. What you do is you back that out, and you see that big pin? It's loose. That's what holds the spider gears. That's what holds the shafts in. Out in their outer position, trapping the C-clip that's in there. And I'll show you that C-clip when I get a chance to take it out here. So I'm just going to pull this out. You might have seen a lot of guys do this better than I am. Alright, so that's loose. Now, I think... I can't even get him out, so I'm going to leave him right there. There comes that pin. There comes that big pin. Notice it's got a flat on both sides. Okay. Doesn't seem to be excessively worn. I'm going to lay it on a dirty paper towel. And now, you have to carefully rotate this to the point where I can see and the gears don't all come flying out. And you push in on the shaft, and you should be able to see a clip in there. And I see it. After I got that pin, that big pin came out, I rotated that around, and I heard a clunk. And so apparently my locking pin came off. And luckily I had a magnet, one of those magnetic retriever thingy-doos. One of these little guys. Now, next thing I need to do is pull that axle out, because you push in on the axle, the C-clip comes out of its recess, you pull it out, and now I can pull the axle all the way out, hopefully. I know, yeah, that comes out like gravy. And I got new seals for these. So there's my axle, and she looks good. Got no issues with the axle. The bearings ride right on the axle, it looks like. I see big roller bearings in there. Now, the next trick is trying to get that seal out. And I think I'm going to have trouble. That's what I think. Okay, so I got that out. What I did is I stuck a crowbar right up inside the lip, banged it a couple times. It came out. They have special pullers. I'm making sure I don't have any dirt in my bearings, and then I'm going to try to cover this up somehow. It's got to go inside like that. There we go. Let's see what we got. I gotta clean that up too. I can't forget, excuse me, how much parking brake goes together. Look at that thing. It's just junk. Okay. Just gonna give it some light taps with a small hammer, I think. Of course, it's not anywhere nearby. There she comes. Baby taps. Oh my God. What a mess. Alright, well this is going to be another hellhole of a cleanup, so this ain't happening right now either. Because this thing is falling apart. Of course.